Hi. So this intro is going to be a bit unconventional, aka simpler, because there originally wasn't supposed to be one here. Oops. If you missed the explanation at the end of the first colony ship video, this first recording session was split in half because it was going to be way too long, and I maybe wanted to make a video under an hour and a half for once. Rest assured, I'll do my best to slash things even further, whether that's shorter recording sessions or more harsher cuts, let's say. Anyway, I will link the first part of this video in the description, though I would appreciate it if you watch that video after this one. I need the watch time. Oh, and please subscribe if you haven't already. This video will show off most of the game's combats for this first part of the game, though obviously if you decided to act in a more rash manner in a variety of the game's side quests shown in the first part of the video, you will get into a lot more fights and into a lot more combat. That said, enough talking, let's get on with things, shall we? Alright, back to it. Alright, before we head to Jed's place, let's explore the outskirts. And yes, this is effectively the end of this starting area. What can I get you? Asks the bartender, rinsing a plastic cup with dirty water. Point at a random plastic jug. Bourbon? A fine choice. Tastes like a warm summer's day. What does a summer's day taste like? One way to find out. What do you make bourbon from? Only the finest chemicals available, all locally sourced. Why did you set up shop here? It's the fastest growing neighborhood. Gonna be bigger than Camptown one day, mark my words. Don't miss out on these fine leather jackets. Any color you want, just try it out and see if it fits you. Let's take a look at Evan's stuff, actually. A synthetic leather vest reinforced with metal studs and a wire mesh. Howler, a low-cost assault rifle with a signature shroud and compensator that makes the gun twice as loud. Must be one of them psychological weapons you've read about. Rounder, this crude turret revolver has been fitted with a horizontally rotating drum. A proper cylinder would require access to a machine shop. Bolter, a crude bolt-action rifle featuring minimalist design and aesthetic, rifling sold separately. Camp knife, an all-purpose knife that can be used for just about anything, from hunting to survival. The blade is stamped out of sheet metal, so don't expect much from it. Nothing is actually over here. I'm not really sure what's the point of this place. Nice. Huh. Oh. Oh. Computers 5. What's my computers? I actually have enough. You managed to deactivate the force field. Alright, what's at the end of this road? Oh, that looks like some nice gear. Scavenger goggles. A scav never knows what he might find in the no man's land of the abandoned lower decks. These crude goggles, fashioned from salvaged combat tech, offer a few little advantages against whatever might be lurking in the dark. Half mask. A half mask respirator used by technicians working with chemicals and other hazardous substances. Damaged enforcer helmet. This enforcer helmet has taken too much damage and lost some of its stopping power. Explorer coat. The scavs live and die by their gear. This custom coat is made for those who know the value of the very best gear, can afford to buy it, and who are tough enough to keep it. What's in here? I noticed this open door. Two rough men turn to focus their collective cold gaze in your direction. A badly beaten scav is moaning on the floor behind them. The thugs say nothing, waiting on you to decide what happens next. Make it your business. You wanna die, fool? You're about to assault an officer of the law. I'm required to warn you to avoid any misunderstandings later on. Law? Here? You've gotta be kidding me, scoffs one of the thugs. Yep, we're finally making the pit more civilized. Hanged 6 men from the bridge yesterday. What did they do? Captain says they were disturbing the peace. Say, isn't that what you boys were doing right now? Who, us? No, sir. Just a misunderstanding between friends. Ain't that right? Get out of here. Thank you. Fucking bastards. Friends of yours? Yeah, as of 2 weeks ago. Heard they came down from the factory after falling out with the Detroit boys. They tried to roust us for production money. We sent a hired gun to negotiate our position, but they killed them. Doesn't look like they'll bother you again. Have you got time to do a little job for me? I can take you where the rest of these maggots are holed up. We can't pay credits, but we do have a disruptor, in mint condition too. It's yours if you help us, plus whatever you find at their campsite. I doubt they'd leave if I asked nicely. They won't. Might as well finish what I started. The sooner we go, the better. You follow the scav to a scrap heap that looks to have been used as a general store at some point. It's not in business at the moment, or at least not the dry goods business. You hear loud voices and laughter from inside. Look for another way in. You can sneak inside, if you are so inclined. And I am, but only to level up my sneak skill. As soon as I get inside, I'm probably just going to open fire soon after. Pick the lock. Let's see what's inside. Small box, big box. More 45, nice. Seems to be a rare ammo type. Oh, hello. Bulldog 2, a well-made Bulldog revolver with adjustable rear sights and excellent balance. Don't mind if I do. Ready to go, or do you need to take a shower first? As ready as I'll ever be. Wait. Always safe. You follow Jed to a shoddily assembled warehouse. 4 containers welded together, with the inner walls cut away to form a bigger interior. Like a magic trick, he produces an access card and swipes it through the magnetic lock. How do you want to play it? Never underestimate the power of persuasion. Shaking his head at his foolishness, Jed focuses his attention on the shotgun. Go through the door. Jed, you show up here, you best brought me what I asked for, says a heavy-set, bearded man. Registering more than one person at the door, he scrambles to draw his gun. You backstabbing bastard. I wouldn't advise that, friend. Captain Braxton doesn't take attacks on the regulators kindly, especially when he's offering the hand of friendship. I don't need his friendship. Oh, but you do. If you want to stay in this town, that is. Of course, you can always go back to the factory, but I hear you're a wanted man down there. This friendship, what's it's gonna cost me? You catch on fast, friend. 1,000 a month ought to do it. 1 month in advance, so that's $2,000 you owe us. I don't have that kind of money, but even if I did, how disappointing. While Captain Braxton might be willing to help a man down in his luck, provided he can pay his bills, he won't tolerate a penniless troublemaker. Fucking bastards. A bit shy of 1,200. That's all I have, so take it or leave it. Fine, let's call it a new customer special. Have yourself a great day. Can I assume our business is concluded? Consider your debt fully discharged. I like the way you handled yourself. I've got another debt needs settling, but it'll require some extra manpower. You get the feeling this debt is about something other than money. Another local job? No, it's in the shanties, clustered up against the engines. They call it the Heart, a good way to remind folks that the reactor is the ship's heart and it's the mutants that keep it beating. My ex-partner runs the trading post there. He'll have a small army with him, lest he's gone broke or soft. But as is usually the case, the profit is proportionate to the risk. If we make it that far, you can definitely count on me. In the meantime, I can use your help with some unfinished business. I think I can free up some time for you. And that is 2 members of our party. Double Trouble. This compact side-by-side breathes new life into discarded steel pipes. Also bears a fashionable resemblance to the sawed-off shotgun of old Earth. Bucket helmet. Forged from scrap steel, this rough bit of headgear provides extra protection for the back of the head and neck. Damaged Enforcer arm guards. These old arm guards have taken too much damage and lost some of their stopping power. Damaged Heavy Ballistic Vest. This heavy ballistic vest has taken too much damage and lost some of its stopping power. Welding boots. These boots were made for welding, but that's probably not what they're going to do. Along with standard metatarsal guard and heat-absorbent padding, this pair comes with shin guards and knee pads salvaged from damaged combat suits. Utility bar. Made for wrecking walls and tearing out steel studs, this multi-purpose utility bar will serve you equally well in demolishing your enemies. Subdermal armor. Worried about being caught without your Kevlar? Tired of hiding under your desk when riots start? Then this bio-armor is right for you. Our patented subdermal scaffolding encourages the growth of benign, high-tensile tissue that cushions flesh and bone against all manner of impacts, with no short-term effects on the immune or nervous systems. There's no need to hide with tough hide. Do I know you? Earl told me I could find you here. Okay, yeah, good. You know what the job is, right? If things go smoothly, I make the deal and you get paid for doing nothing. That's what I'm hoping for, of course. But if the Grangers turn weasel on us, you need to stand up and fast. Remember this, if I don't get paid, you don't get paid. What's the nature of this deal exactly? The Grangers want a control module for one of their towers. I happen to have an extra one I don't need. That's it. You follow Chance to the outskirts of the pit. Out beyond the densely populated center, the environment ironically gets more orderly as the towering container stacks fall into countless perfectly squared rows. Nothing here seems to have shifted an inch since the ship left Earth orbit 1 million years ago. Soon you arrive at the only open container in sight, a dull glow within signaling a human presence. 3 men stand silently about a portable heater, the ship equivalent of the Frontier campfire, minus a good cheer. Do you have it? The man in charge says in a voice hoarse and low. The left side of his face is disfigured with gruesome saucer-sized scars, like vicious sucker marks. From one of these rippled craters, the angry orange light of an ocular implant is doing duty for a missing eye. You can't help but wonder about the tentacle that must have delivered that kiss. Everyone's heard the stories, of course, but you felt better telling yourself they were exaggerated. Chance hurriedly yanks a dusty old control module from his belt bag and passes it to Scarface. The Granger glances down at it, no more than a quick take, and tosses it to the ground. What's the deal? Chance's voice fights the tense silence like a mouse struggling against a snake. You wanted a tower control module? I brought you a tower control module. Now where's my money? I got shit to do. He cuts his eyes at you, both in a naked appeal for support and to give himself a break from looking at his mark. Scarface isn't so interested in Chance anymore, though. His implant is giving you a hard stare, and you're guessing it's doing more than just staring. Judging by the design, it's military hardware, already locked in and analyzing its target. What if I can get this module for you? The head Granger contemplates your offer for a moment. Then you'll get paid, and well, he says cautiously. But as far as I know, the only place to find one is Mission Control Center. Your friend claimed he knew a diver who had recovered the kind of module we need. Since he lied, I assume it's still there. The divers we sent it in return. I will find a way. Good. If you make it back, come and see me at our camp. Name's Gideon. We'll look after your friend in the meantime. He has a debt to work off, and lucky for him, we can always use extra manpower. What can I get you? Here's Jed's debt, paid in full, minus my fee. Thanks, Lyle. Here's something extra for your trouble. He gives you a couple of combat stims. Well, I'm gonna need a little more time. The Grangers took the client, but I can get him back. Earl nods distractedly, losing what little interest he had in the topic. You have anything for me? Client came in while you were out. Name of Faith Ward. Ward Salvage was a prospecting outfit operating out on the frontier. They recently happened on a valuable find, like once in a lifetime valuable, but ran into a bit of a snag trying to sell it. Now Miss Ward is the last breathing member of that organization. The lady wants to reclaim her rightful property and deliver some good old-fashioned retribution on the low-down cowardly scum that stole it. Earl spit on the floor to further elucidate his feelings on the matter. After a quick examination of Miss Ward's finances, I assured her I knew just the man for the job. Someone intimately familiar with the legal term extreme prejudice. Where can I find her? Take the stairs on your right. You won't miss her. I'll take care of it. The woman steps forward from the shadows. Her face unclosed. She recently took some kind of beating, but her eyes tell you she's not anywhere near done. You must be Faith Ward. Earl sent me. They killed my family. I want them to pay for what they've done. They will. Now tell me what happened. We found the key on the body of a dead diver, deep down in the mission control ruins. He had it tucked away in his breast pocket, right here. Do you know what it's like out there? The work, I mean? Our days are spent sifting through piles of junk, looking to turn the littlest kind of profit. Broken down droids that might have a part or two worth of jimmying out, batteries and smashed plasma weapons that might still hold a charge, skeletons with battered old implants. We're trying to make a living out of a fool's errand, but most of us think there's some chance of striking gold out there. I never did myself, not until I saw that key. What happened next? My father made a deal with Lazarus Foley, took my brother and 2 men who worked for us with him. Show of strength, he said. My father, my brother, the hired hands, they didn't return. But Foley's men did, came after me that very night. Cleaning up loose ends, I guess. They sound like thorough people. What makes this key so valuable? How many electronic keys have you seen in your life? Not an access card, but a real electronic key. I've never even seen that lock that goes with a key like that. It stands to reason that whatever's behind the door fitting that key is worth a fortune. Could be it opens up the command center itself, who knows? I thought it was just a story. Maybe there's more to it. It all goes back to the last battle of the mutiny, the fight for the mission control complex. The stories say that when the ship Authority saw was lost, the last few defenders sealed themselves inside the command center to deny it to the enemy, sealed it permanently. So how am I going to find this Foley? He's probably staying out of sight. That's the easy part, says Earl, appearing out of nowhere. I will send word to Foley that I have a buyer for the key. Whether he intends to make an honest sale or ambush you like he did the wards, he'll arrive with his men ready for war. I'd best get ready then. Did Foley take the bait? He'll be waiting for you in warehouse E4. I can take you there when you're ready. I'm ready. You're standing outside the warehouse. Foley and his men are waiting within. It's time to consider your options. Distract Foley with your witty repartee while Faith sneaks inside and takes him out. Here's the renowned Lazarus Foley. He looks like a hard one, as advertised. His henchmen are just filler, though a stray bullet can kill you just as dead as one fired by a marksman. You ain't no scav, and that means you've never seen the inside of Mission Control, so you ain't here to buy the key, are you, boy? I'm not going to skulk in the ruins looking for the magic door if that's what you're asking. I'm going to sell the key in the habitat for twice as much. Really? Asks Foley, eager to pump you for info. Good market there? It looks like Faith will have plenty of time to get in position. Keep him talking. You tell Foley what he wants to hear, giving Faith enough time to get inside. Finally, you see her emerging from the ventilation hatch at the other end of the warehouse. Who's your buyer? Foley asks, feigning indifference. Maybe I know him. Keep him talking. You accuse Foley of trying to cut you out while telling him enough to figure out who the buyer is, had he existed in the first place. When Faith appears behind him, pale as a ghost and just as quiet, Foley's too busy milking you for info to pay attention to anything around him. She strikes once, then twice, and Lazarus collapses. Not quite dead yet, but well on the way. Taken by surprise, his men freeze for a split second. It's over, nobody else needs to die. One of the thugs assumes the mantle of leadership and nods. Go, he says, pointing at the door with his gun. We'll take the key and be on our way then. You must be out of your fucking mind, friend, says the thug. Killing this asshole, he kicks dying Lazarus, is one thing. Robbing us blind is another. Did you know that the wards were working for the Brotherhood? They did? Lazarus didn't tell us anything. Lazarus is dead. You're still breathing. If you want to keep it this way, hand me the fucking key. Now. And if I say no, nobody chooses the second option. You don't really think you can go against the Brotherhood and live, do you? Reluctantly, the thug throws you the key. It's an old ship-style key fob sporting a 4-inch metal rod. It has to be a mechanical lock with an electronic control device that grants access to the lock. A lot of people died for this. She speaks slowly, as if unsure what she's going to say next. But why? What's hidden behind that goddamn door that's worth this many lives? Since my regular crew is dead, I'll need to hire out for this run and pray they can see it through. I'm willing to take a chance on you if you want the job. What's stopping me from taking the key and disappearing? Nothing. But you don't know the ruins, and even if you did, you're not going to make it without outside help. Neither of us gets what we want without trusting somebody. Easiest thing will be to trust each other. Come with me, I might need your help. Faith nods, her eyes suddenly lifeless. You alright? I've never killed anyone before. I know he had it coming, but it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't, but we do what we have to survive. Is this the only way? Kill or be killed? It's not. At least it shouldn't be. Faith nods, considering what you said. She seems relieved, as if a great weight has been lifted from her shoulders. Faith gains thief feet. Let's go. Shield arm guards. Carbon fiber arm guards designed for shock absorption and deflection. It's a cheap piece of gear, so don't expect any miracles. Springer. A crudely fashioned single-shot pistol with a hammer spring, hence the name. The barrel is long enough to offer a degree of accuracy, so make that first shot count. Neural uplink, data jack implant. A data port that bridges the gap between the human mind and computer, allowing you to plug into any machine designed for direct access. A built-in cognitive enhancer will analyze your neural firing patterns and manage your neural network more efficiently. Any luck? Give her the key. See? Told you it would be easy. Let's go get our money. Perhaps too easy. You think? Well, let's find out. That wasn't the deal. Yeah, so? You want to get paid? Tag along. You want to play a lawyer? Knock yourself out. Follow her. I'll let you do the honors. Perception success. You spot the telltale signs of a trap. Disarm the trigger. You manage to disarm the trap. Open the door. Tricky fucker. Let's see what he's hiding. Gio rummages through the strongbox until she finds a credit drive. It doesn't make any sense. There's less than 500 here. I thought, better than nothing. Let's split the money and go. Better luck next time, eh? She winks and disappears into the darkness. You gain 240 credits. She left this behind? Well, don't mind that if I do. Hey, and there's the submachine gun I was looking for. Grinder. Fashioned from a discarded high-pressure air pump, this bargain-price submachine gun will strike terror into the hearts of friends and foe alike. And a damaged heavy ballistic vest. And a ballistic helmet. A high-quality ballistic helmet made from thermoplastic polymers with carbon nanotubes. This piece isn't designed for close combat, so keep your distance if you don't want your hair to get mussed. Well, the job's done. Foley's dead. Well done. Check back with me in a few weeks. I might have something for you. You lost? Sarah sent me. Why the high security? Too many crews out looking for an easy score these days. We like to shift our merch quickly and quietly. Less trouble that way. The so-called merch consists of 3 desiccated heads fixed to crude stands, their withered expressions frozen forever in the rectus of their dying moments more than a century ago. Whether they were mutineers or security officers in their day, they stand united now. All 3 heads sport ocular and neural uplink implants, a rich haul even if half the implants are fried. This one's a sergeant, I think. The scaff points at the dented metal knob embedded in the left temple. A squad leader, maybe even tag team if we're lucky. Examine the merchandise. While you will need to extract the implants and run some tests to see if they're still functioning, other signs show problem with the tech. Superficial burns indicating a power surge, bone loss around the devices, and scar tissue indicating frequent access for repair. The data jack on the leftmost head is fried, but the ocular seems fine, whereas the ocular on the head to the right has been repaired multiple times. Not a good sign, but the data jack looks functional. Out of the 3, the Sarge is in the best shape. While the ocular was apparently destroyed by plasma fire, the squad leader and data jack showed little wear and tear. Looks like this newly promoted soldier barely had time to enjoy his upgrades. Sarah said you have something for her. I owe her 500 credits, so the standard package should cover it, says the scav, pointing at the heads with the standard gear. What about the squad leader? Sorry, friend. Gear that rare never stays put for long. Gotta buy her on the way here as we speak. As if on cue, the door slides open and a fully armored, heavy-set man strides into the warehouse. He's trailed by a couple flunkies, hired, you're guessing, to squawk if anything comes up on his six. The big man pauses for a moment like a predator, sniffing the room and glances into every corner of the room. When his eyes land on you, he waits until his goggles get a read on you, then frowns. Clearly, this is a man who doesn't like surprises. Which one is mine? He nods at the grotesque kids. Sorry, buddy. First come, first serve. What's going on here, Jimmy? Asked the newcomer, without looking any direction again. You know how I feel about people wasting my time? It's nothing, Manfred. Jimmy tries for amuse, but his voice is sliding down the register towards pleading. This, fellow was just making a joke, right, mister? Haha. With a smile like a rictus, Jimmy's head swivels in your direction, and he hisses, Get the fuck out of here. Now. Nobody talks to you this way. Nobody. Don't do it, kid, the newcomer says in a relaxed way, as if talking about a risky shot in billiards, and maybe you'll live to see the dawn. Jimmy takes a step back, his hand sliding in an entirely unsubtle way towards his gun. If you follow through, you'll have to fight all 5 of them. You aren't a violent man, but that fancy implant isn't the kind of thing you just stumble on in a scav cap, and if these folks are willing to die for it, that only confirms its value. Attack. I mostly did this so we actually get to have a fight in this video. A character's initiative determines a turn order in combat. You can click on any name on the turn order list, top left corner, to see the corresponding character, friend or foe. You can activate a defensive gadget during the placement phase stage, before a fight starts. The effect's duration will be reduced by 1 turn, but you won't start the fight defenseless, especially if your initiative is low. Since I'm the only one with a gadget, I'm the only one that gets the benefit of a gadget. Alright. Looks like a scav is going first, so one of these guys. Alright, nothing for it. Oh, wait, I can sort out my placement here in case I wanted to. Jed is definitely the strongest of us, so let's put him here. Evans here. Jed and Evans are the tanks. Me, I'll put closer to the guys with guns. Same with Faith. Sightlines matter, though. So if one of them is blocking somewhere, we can't shoot at them. Luckily, I can check here. I should be closer. Am I blocking her shot? No, not on anyone. Okay. Let's put them there, actually. Alright, start combat. Nice. Looks like I go next, as in Faith. Let's see. Focus burst, short burst, long burst. She only has 8 AP, which means she can do this, or... But this will cost 10 AP. A 5-round burst will cost 12. Overall, I'm probably more scared of the guys with the guns. But then again, maybe I should focus on who has the least health. Let's get rid of enemies. Dead. End turn, and because I didn't quite use up all my AP, they get 1 bonus evasion. I wonder what that X is for. Anyway, let's see. 4. Wow, I get a pretty good shot at Jimmy. Probably because he's straight ahead. Let's... Instead of a regular shot, though... Regular shot is 4 AP. Aimed shot, though. Severely lowers my economy, but it might be worth it. What's my chances of crit? 21% compared to 6%. And a snapshot, nothing. Down you go. Of course, the problem with guns is you need to reload eventually, and you need a bit of AP for that. Ah well. Enter. Alright, Faith obviously needs to move into cover unless I can significantly whittle these guys down. That said... only 69. 84, I like those odds better. Damn it. Damn it. Well, that'll have to do, won't it? I don't like that, but it's the best I got. Nice. Place the cursor over the weapon slot to see the attacks available for the equipped weapon. Once you're familiar with the attacks, you can use the numeric keys to cycle through them. There are 4 different armor types: helmet, torso, arms, legs, each with its own damage resistance. Use aimed attacks to target the weak spots of your enemies. Alright. I want to move them into cover, but to do so would risk reaction fire. From everyone, it seems like. Or is that only referring to... well, whatever. Nice. Not bad. Let's move them forward. So I was risking reaction attacks. Good to know. But let's put this guy in the ground. One more shot. There we go. Dang. End turn. You got lucky. Jed, you're up. Can you shoot from there, though? That's the question. I think so. Well, only one way to find out. Yes, you can. Oh, you don't have great odds. Well, if I'm gonna have not so great odds, then I should focus on a weak point. Miss. Again, no ammo. of course. Well, it's something. That's better than nothing. Enter. My turn. My go. The gadget needs to be properly reset before it can be activated again. I can aim for a bullseye? Well, yes, but it takes up every one of my AP. If I miss, it's gonna hurt. I can afford to get a bit closer. Nice. Your chance to hit an enemy is affected by many factors, including the weapon's quality and range, attack type, cover, etc. You can press Alt while aiming to see the breakdown of the accuracy rating to understand it better. Moving to get a better shot or switching to a secondary weapon or a different attack type is the easiest way to boost accuracy short term. You have not enough ammunition, because for some reason a gun that fires in 3-round bursts does not have an ammunition type that does not have the ammo to end neatly on a 3-round burst. Might as well be focused if I've already spent some AP. You're only making me angry, says the guy who is about to die. End turn. Actually, why risk it? Snapshot, just gun him down. Reload. Fatigue. That's what I like to see. Out of ammo again. Missed. Of course I missed. Oh, nothing else I can do. Click on a grenade in your belt slot to select it, left click to throw, right click to switch back to your default weapon. Place the cursor over a stimulant in your belt slot, then click the use button. Regen stims have drawbacks on use. Super soldier stims have drawbacks when the effect expires. Might as well. And that's it. Riddled with bullets in the fight, 2 of the heads have been ruined beyond repair. One of the gentlemen stretched out on the floor gave them a burst with his machine gun, purely out of spite. But thank the forefathers, your prize seems to have escaped the gunplay unscathed. Take it, you earned it. Let's go ahead and loot the bodies. If an enemy has a cybernetic implant, you can attempt to extract it after combat. These implants are old and had many previous owners, so you'll have to repair them afterwards if you want to use them or sell them as is. If your skill is too low, the implant will be damaged beyond repair. Don't forget to assign a biotech specialist in the party management screen to handle these extractions. Ooh, a spine. Exospine damaged. A freshly harvested exospine implant, still covered in blood and gore. Who knows how many owners it changed over the decades. It will need some tune-up before you can use it. And the mummified head. A mummified head with a squad leader implant. Boomstick, a short length of heavy pipe that happened to be a snug fit for a shotgun shell. The primary design consideration on this beauty is price. Tommy gun. This iconic deck sweeper comes with a drum magazine fashioned from an old motor pulley with drilled holes, thermoset stock, and a barrel threatening to come loose at any moment. Bowler helmet, green. A crude bowl-shaped helmet vaguely resembling the ancient M1917 war hat. Scav helmet. A cheap and popular helmet made from thermoplastic stripped from damaged combat suits. It's comforting to know this armor is made from recycled combat tech and not discarded plastic junk. Maybe. Long slide. A long barrel pistol with a 3-round internal magazine. Compared to a pipe pistol, this is high tech. Machete. A crude machete forged from a single piece of scrap metal. The blade is rough and unpolished, but it's sharp edge enough to get the job done. Pipe Dream. One of the finest assault rifles to ever come from small workshops. Looking at it, you'd never guess it was put together from random junk gathered here and there. Scavenger boots. Custom knee-high boots reinforced with steel toes and shin guards. Carbon fiber knee pads round out the look, giving you the best protection and style in this price range. Make it quick. Give her Jimmy's merch. I'll be damned, she says softly, admiring the desiccated head like some kind of object art. I don't know how to pronounce that, though it was my best attempt. Jimmy did good for once. You are in the presence of a brand new squad leader. The data jack looks serviceable too, but those aren't exactly a rarity. This miracle of technology, though, there's probably fewer than 50 squad leaders left on the entire ship. Let's take it for a spin, she says, jacking into the device with a small diagnostic tool. Data begins to appear on the display. Bring me that box over there. You've already taken 10 steps and have your hands on the box before stopping to give your head a shake. You are somehow compelled to action. Sarah chuckles to herself. What was that? The science is beyond me, but it, encourages the target to follow orders. It won't override an enemy's mind or affect anyone actively resisting you, but it augments your control over people who've already accepted your authority. This implant wasn't even military originally. It was developed by a private corporation on Earth to boost efficiency. It worked so well that the government took notice and developed the combat model. What do you think? This beauty could be all yours for not much more than the price of a ticket back to Earth. 700 credits, including cleaning and installation. Since you and I are good friends, I'll even throw in the data jack. That's it? No reward? Well, I have to admit, I didn't expect a squad leader, which is more than Jimmy owed me. She does some math in her head, then puts 10 medkits and 3 stims on the table. Stay out of trouble. A vent on the roof offers an easy way in, but you'd have to find another way out. Sneak inside. That's all I was here for, just for the sneak. But while I'm here... Nope, I can't do anything because I didn't bring in a stealth weapon. Oops. Start combat. Now, of course, the rest of my squad begins at the front door, but I have to fight my way, or survive my way, until I can get to them. Ah, dang it, moved too close. Let's aim for a weak point then. Nice. That's all I got. Ah, shoot, forgot to use this. Oh, whatever. When a member of your group falls, a death timer starts running. If you manage to finish combat before it runs out, the character will live, with small scars as a reminder of the event. There's no way to extend it during combat, so you better hurry to kill your enemies. We'll see if it's necessary. But otherwise, there's only one way through this, and that's through killing all of them. Dead. Thug kicked the oxygen habit. But I might not be able to win this one. Reload first. Should not done that. Well, that was awful. Well, that's a small one. Oh, now you hit him. Reload. That is beyond lucky. You are kidding me. Well, either I kill them both this turn, or I don't. Oh, that was lucky. Wow, I can't believe I actually won that. Jed has survived the close encounter with death, which left some scars, and so did Faith. Traveler coat, a simple coat favored by traveling, traders, and vagabonds. Heavy boots, a pair of heavy boots fit for every occasion, from day work to gun work. Common respirator, a common respirator issued in the old days for shipboard emergencies. It won't completely protect you from toxic gas, but at least will reduce the damage. Gear mace. Once part of some machine, this gear mounted to a metal shaft has been given new life as a terrifying weapon, capable of breaking bones and splitting skulls with ease. The only drawback is its poor balance. Battle bowler helmet. A superior bowler helmet with added face guard and shock-absorbent padding. Energizer. This mighty scepter built around a discarded pistol's plasma chamber will release a jolt of energy on contact, striking fear into the hearts of your enemies and frying their brains simultaneously. Pepperbox Mark II. Unlike its feebler cousins, this Pepperbox pistol shows the hand of a real gunsmith, properly drilled bores and a self-cocking hammer. Scanner. These rare police-issued glasses can do far more than stream vids and connect with friends. You'll see much further into the infrared spectrum and pick targets more easily. Damaged assault armor. This assault armor has taken too much damage and lost some of its stopping power. Raider boots. Regular ship authority issued boots with pointed steel toes and reinforced knee guards. Good for kicking things. Gatling gun. Multi-barrel shotgun. A replica of the Gatling gun, named after a famous warlord of old Earth. This multi-barrel tool of destruction brought Gatling great success in one of the home planet's many world wars. Face mask, skull. This stylish face mask has a good skull on it. Confidence plus 10%. And inside the case, an M16. The same M16 rifle that freed the United States from British rule in the 18th century. It's been the bane of the Redcoats ever since. Thank you, says a scav, handing you the disruptor he promised. This handy zap releases an electric charge whenever someone makes physical contact, temporarily stunning your attacker and disrupting their train of thought. Of course you need to plug it into a distortion field handheld generator, but that's a different story. Ready to work? We've got a full docket. I'm ready. Let me see. The Chief Justice pulls out an electronic notepad and begins swiping through a series of screens full of very ornate, hard-to-read font. First defendant is one John Doe, meaning he refused to tell us his name. We call that an aggravating circumstance. Our friend Mr. Doe stands accused of cheating during a game of poker. He vehemently denies the charge. Don't they all, though? A jury of his peers, in this case fellow poker players, agree that John Doe cheated and also had shifty eyes, so the case goes to trial. John's been on a diet of water and N-Tab half rations for 3 weeks, so I'm guessing he'll present a pretty weak case. When do I get paid? A mercenary, eh? I would think continuing the legacy of our progressive judicial system will be reward enough. He waits a moment to see if you'll change your mind. But in any case, a convicted criminal forfeits all positions to the prosecution, meaning you. Enjoy. Make your case. I don't remember this cheering from last time. Start. Let me activate my defensive gadget. I keep forgetting that. Start combat. Short bursts, but I can manage aim shots. Was this crowd here before? I don't remember a crowd here before, but it's actually very nice. Even if the audience noises are a bit canned. Let's aim for a weak spot. You're only making me angry. Evans. Very nice. Very nice. Wow. Down you go. John Doe shuffled off this mortal coil. John Doe's futile attempts to kill you has given you new survival insights. A low-end revolver for the budget-minded killer. The Bulldog's range and accuracy are nothing to brag about, but at least it's made from real steel. Guilty as charged, eh? Let me know when you're ready for your next trial. Our #1 legal representative is out with a shattered kneecap, and we've got a full docket. The Dalton brothers, says the Chief Justice, shaking his head as he reviews the data. Showing a poverty of imagination matching their actual poverty, they decided to strike out and plunder the riches of the Mission Control ruins. By all accounts, they were lucky to survive, but unlucky to return empty-handed. This is after running up a substantial debt to finance their venture. Said debt causing our business community undue hardship and financial burden, which, of course, must be rectified. Anything else I should know? Yes, there's a note appended to the file. The Daltons petitioned the court to provide them with means to defend themselves on account of losing most of their belongings during their unsuccessful enterprise. They were issued a mace and 2 knives, so my guess is they'll come at you hard and fast. A shotgun will be handy in this situation. The Mission Control ruins. The miles and miles of ruined decks and desolation separating us from the mutants. Dreadful, dangerous place. Of course, if it wasn't so dangerous, it would have been stripped to the whole a long time ago. You mentioned riches? In the form of energy weapons and other gizmos. In older times, a man could just walk in, liberate some goods from a few dried-up corpses, and return to town. Now you have to go deeper and deeper to find anything worth looting, and the deeper you go, the less likely you are to come back. Make your case. Okay. Dad, you should be in front. Faith, off to the side, you up front. Start combat. Ah, wait. Lyle. Nice. Can I hit him from here? Yes, actually. Nearly got him. Evans should get him, though. Very nice. William Dalton isn't with us anymore. That's one way to put it. Jeez, you nearly killed him in that one attack. And killed him in 2. Behind? Who are you aiming for? The only one who took any damage is me. And only because he managed to get through my energy shield a bit. Well, I say energy shield. The distortion field. It doesn't actually protect me from any damage. Which I guess means I just got lucky. Oh, whatever. You got lucky. You decided to go the long way around instead of attacking the front line. You're going to die before you manage to do anything, bud. Departed the mortal world in a hurry. Slicer. This discarded saw blade is living its best life as a terrifying war axe, ripping through flesh and armor alike. Well done, Deputy. The Daltons have been held legally accountable for their actions, and the people's faith in our infallible judicial process has been restored. Are you ready for your next case? Next on the docket is Ebenezer Harding, also known as Hard Ben. This one has been testing this town's patience ever since he moved here. The low-down backshooter is alleged to have killed 3 men in cold blood out in the Mission Control ruins, and then he returned here to sell their cargo. The nerve. Turns out the alleged victims worked for Mr. Jonas Redford himself, which makes Mr. Redford the rightful owner of aforementioned cargo. Mr. Harding also incurred a fine for the unlawful termination of the dead men's employment contracts. Oh, and all this was explained to him by one of my clerks. The miscreant not only refused to pay the fine, he refused to surrender the stolen goods. Without the rule of law, this town will be overrun by savages. It's time for you to send a strong message to Mr. Harding, and any of his friends who might be skulking about that their kind isn't welcome here. Any other details? Though unscrupulous and ill-mannered, Mr. Harding isn't entirely ignorant of the boons of civilization. He has several gizmos in his possession, including an energy shield. As I'm sure you're aware, I'm obliged by law to disclose all facts of the case that might come up during the trial. Are you telling me this bastard will show up fully loaded? The Chief Justice raises one finger and intones, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." Make your case. It is scary, but he is just one person. Completely. Why were they aiming for the legs, anyway? Down you go. Hard Ben went to meet his maker. Street Sweeper. A compact 4-barrel shotgun hacked together from scavenged parts. It ain't much to look at, but it will get the job done. Ballistic Vest. One of the more common bullet-resistant vests made from laminated synthetic fiber. It won't make you invincible, but might give you the edge you need in a firefight. Energy Shield. An anti-riot energy shield. Once standard kit for Ship Authority security forces, it now serves as a symbol of status and strength. Well done, my boy. This job tends to grind people down, but you're hardly breaking a sweat out there. A gang of vile road agents calling themselves the Black Hand. These thugs make their living terrorizing traders passing through the factory. A group of regulators nabbed 3 of these miscreants looting dead bodies at the scene of the latest attack. Now they are finally going to face justice. But are the looters who were brought in actually members of this gang? Only God knows for sure, but even if they're just scavengers, putting them on trial will send a strong message to the Black Hand. The factory? Is there another name for it where you come from? Asked the Chief Justice, looking surprised. I'm talking about the industrial zone stretching all the way to the habitat. Make your case. Let's see. Gun, melee. Okay, so Jed should be out in front here. So let's put you here, Jed here, Faith here, run on our shield, Evans here, turn on my distortion field. Alright, we're ready. Which is good because they all go first. Oh, better than nothing. Wasn't expecting a grenade, though. That does blow. Oh yeah, if you're trying to hit someone in close range with most guns, you can only use snapshots. Lucky. Basher was sent to the promised land ahead of everyone else. Nice. Let's deal with this guy first and the other guy later. Nice. Now we can start taking care of this guy. Can I shoot him from there? No. So I will have to move at least one space. Bionic eye damaged. A freshly harvested ocular implant still covered in blood and gore. Otherwise, toothpick, a heavy dagger with a spear point blade, long enough to run a man through. Meant for stabbing rather than slashing, the toothpick offers unmatched penetration. Scoped old Betsy. A revolving carbine cobbled together from a rifled .45 barrel, recycled cylinder, carbon fiber stock, spit, and elbow grease. Gunslinger jacket, a reinforced jacket favored by gunfighters. It doesn't limit your mobility, but offer a good degree of protection. Old scav armor suffering from excessive wear and tear. Face mask, a stylish face mask. Safety helmet, a high-performance maintenance helmet designed to protect the wearer from impacts and the sharp objects carried by most people you've met. After today, the Black Hand will think twice before attacking our traders. They've heard you loud and clear, Deputy. Are you ready to strike a blow for justice? The next perpetrator is Solomon Clayton, known in these parts as a rat catcher. Solomon's a bounty hunter, and he must be a good one since he made enough dosh to relocate to the habitat last year. But our uptown friend returned a few weeks ago to sample our local end-tabs, do some sightseeing, and murder one of our citizens in cold blood. Mr. Clayton claimed the job was a bounty issued by the Brotherhood. Now there's a difference between helping decent folks settle a dispute and killing people for the Brotherhood. One's a legitimate business transaction, while the other is murder most foul. Assassins aren't welcome here. I expect with this case is adjudicated, people will understand that better. What's the problem with the Brotherhood? They're rotten bastards, down to the last man, woman, and whatever crawling spawn hatches from their eggs. We'd rather live in this cargo hold and be free than bow to the Brotherhood and the other two cults out there. The Protectors are still bleeding about their goddamned mission. I guess nobody told them the mission ended with a mutiny destroyed half the ship. The Brotherhood is what the former mutineers called themselves since nobody wants to be called mutineer all their days. They say they want liberty for all, but really just the liberty to tell folks what to do. And naturally the church wants their slice too. They don't have as many men on their side, but they do have Jesus. If they could produce him once in a while, I might be convinced, but they haven't come through so far. Anything else I need to know? Oh yeah, the Chief of Justice says, suddenly quiet. Somehow the accused got himself a couple of public defenders. It's a big case, and if the trial results in an acquittal, they stand to make quite a name for themselves. What the hell is a public defender? The law guarantees the accused the best defense he can afford, explains the Chief Justice. Of course, you need a small fortune to retain the services of someone like Carter or Winfield, but there are cheaper alternatives, such as your garden variety low-down gunman looking to make a name for himself. Make your case. Ironically, the public defenders have more health than the man himself. Alright, Lyle to the side, Jed over here, Faith here, Evans here. Now that was unlucky. Well, first regards always has to be to the closest one. Weird. They must have some sort of healing factor, because I just saw them heal 2 HP. That's one down. Nice. He zoomed across the battlefield. So there isn't much left in this one. Done so. Boom. Ooh, a heart. Chopper, a hand-forged chopper with a handguard. The heavy recurved blade makes it an excellent hacking tool in case you find yourself in a dense jungle or simply need to dismember someone. Scrapper coat, a cheap coat fashioned from synthetic leather and reinforced with discarded thermoplastic. Damaged tactical arm guards, visco-elastic arm guards with heat-laminated plastic plates. More shells, rattlesnake. This unusual energy shotgun was cobbled together from spare parts in an idiot savant kind of way. Surprisingly, the gun works and works well. Rusty Doomsayer. A rust-covered Doomsayer shotgun. The barrels have been recently replaced, but the ejector is about to throw in the towel. Open and shut case, eh? I know I'm supposed to be impartial and all, but I'm just tickled thinking about the hangover this will give the Brotherhood. That's 5 cases you closed without so much as requesting stress leave, so I'm giving you a promotion. Congratulations, Prosecutor Lyle. It won't all be champagne and grits, though. The cases are going to get tougher. What's next on the docket? I'll be damned. It seems we've run out of cases. Well, I'm sure it won't last long. A black-clad woman steps forth from the shadows, her face hidden behind an oddly decorated hazmat mask. 2 guards flank her. They will be invisible in the darkness if not for the soft glow of their armored vests. I want to hire you, the woman says in an accent almost as strange as her mask. Who are you? You may address me as Harbinger. I no longer have a name. The bitterness in her voice is unmistakable. She must not have been doing this Harbinger thing for long. What's a Harbinger? The ignorance of your kind never ceases to amaze me, she says disdainfully. How can you be so blind? My kind? One of the guards removes his helmet to reveal an oddly leathery face with deep sunken eyes and a lipless mouth. He grins as he savors your discomfort. I wonder if the Neanderthals were as shocked by your outlandish appearance, the woman says. I wonder if they foresaw their own doom. You're mutants. And what do you suppose you are? A piece of clay molded in God's own image? We're all mutants. You are mutants of the past, we of the future. Your species evolved to populate the Earth and subdue it. Mine will subdue Proxima. Those who in distant centuries succeed us will subdue a different world. What do you want? I watched you fight. You excel at violence, like many of your backwards kind. I want you to find someone for me. One of my people is hiding in the ruins of the Mission Control Center. It's worth 5,000 credits if you kill him. How would I recognize him? Easy. He's the only one there, for no man is allowed to leave the heart unless accompanied by a harbinger or a consecrator. He was given the name Neuraltalk, but he goes by Neural now. It's an odd name. What does it mean? What does Lyle mean to you? Shrugs the harbinger. Your kind still clings to names that lost their meanings millennia ago. We do not. I'll think about it. I'll be in the heart, waiting to hear from you. Wait for them to leave. Neural must have really pissed him off now, chuckles Jed. You know him? We go way back, nods Jed. Trust me, it's better to have him for a friend than an enemy. The Great Mother wanted him dead for years, yet the stubborn bastard is still breathing. That's gotta tell you something. The Great Mother? The Great Mother to all mutants, loving and caring. She speaks softly, but her daughters carry very big sticks. In practical terms, her word, no matter how softly spoken, is law. So she ought to be very impressed if we bring her Neural set, maybe even grateful. I'm sure she will be, says Jed, clenching his jaws, but if you're dead set on going after Neural, you'll have to do it without me. I'll keep it in mind. Still, I reckon that is a lovely place to cut it off. We could do more, but frankly, we've been out of time 30 minutes ago. So, we'll end it here. Alright everyone, we'll pass it off to the gameplay guy. See you later. Let me tell you, this game is not for short play sessions. If you want to make real progress, you better be prepared to sink in at least a few hours into the game to finish a significant portion of it. This entire video only covered most of the side content of the first chapter, and I wouldn't even go that far because we stayed in the starting area. There are other areas you can explore, even in the first chapter. Had we gone to the area at the top of that elevator, outside of the main area, or followed one of the quest lines to a bit further in their storyline. You could visit hydroponics off the top of my head. You could also visit the mission control ruins, and that's just a couple locations. I think there's one more, including, of course, the armory. That's part of the main story. You could also visit there, but I encourage you to explore every side area you can first. There's just always areas that are locked off as well until you have higher skills in your traversal set, which in this case is mostly electronics, computers, and lockpicking. But this game is good fun, needless to say, and has wonderful world building. I can't wait to show you more of it, but that's gonna be a long time coming, because even if I do another video on it right now, which I'm not gonna do until it gets voted on again, of course, it still will probably only take us into the remainder of whatever's left of the starting area, maybe a little bit into the Braxton versus Jonas storyline, and into some of the side areas for other side quests, or just for loot, to be honest. It's gonna be a real journey either way. I reckon that's all I have to say today. So, thank you very much for watching this video, and please, if you haven't already, do subscribe. Take care everyone, I'll see you in the next one.